starting a new project. It's going to be a table, and this is for a niece who is a Disney princess in every sense of the word. I think she's been to Disney just about every year of her life. And to that end, I don't know if you know this or not, but Disney is really big on what they call hidden Mickeys. And they'll have a Mickey Mouse hidden somewhere. Like on a storm drain, there'll be a Mickey Mouse. And we're gonna try something just like it. And I'm gonna put this on the bottom of the table. And if it works out the way I hope it will work out, this will just be a shallow outline of Mickey, and then I'll inlay it with gold leaf and then finish it to protect it. And it starts here. I have a piece of plywood, and I am going to try to attach the outline of this to the plywood. Once I've done that, then I'll have a template. And then once I have this template, I can use that to take a router around onto the tabletop and route out the outline of the Mickey Mouse. But it all starts right here. So let's see how this goes. I keep these hotel cards. They're great for little things around the shop like this. And I've said repeatedly, when doing these projects for someone, you spend a great deal of time thinking about them. And my niece is, she just advised me that she's, well, I don't want to give her age away. But I will tell you this, I was really surprised when she told me how old she is. And I've known her every one of those years. She was just a toddler when I got married. But this is going to have to sit aside to dry. And I'm still waiting for specifics from her. In some cases, she's not exactly sure what she wants. For example, she's not sure what species of wood she wants for this table. I'm advising her to go with a hardwood. I like cherry, but oak is classic. And a hardwood because she has 2 young boys, as well as her husband, I guess. And if he's anything like me, we're not exactly gentle on furniture. So we'll set this aside to dry and come back in a day or so and try cutting this out on the bandsaw. Inside the sawmill, all kinds of species of woods, hard maple, black walnut, different thicknesses. You see 5/4, 4/4. Over here, 6/4. And here's the white oak. 4/4 white oak, 5/4 white oak, 6/4 white oak. And I'm going to make the tabletop out of 6/4 white oak. I think I'm going to take this plank plus one other. And then the skirt I'm going to make out of 4/4 white oak, so something over there. The legs I'm going to have to do a glue up. And I'll show you that later. That's that. Super Bowl Sunday, and I'm down in the basement doing a little bit of woodworking and continuing on with the table. And I want to machine these boards. And what that entails is cutting them to width and also planing them, joining them and planing them. So I have, this is called S2S lumber. It is surfaced on two sides. And I just need to complete the process of machining it. In other words, surfacing the other two sides. Now this plank is 10 inches wide. And I have 4 that are going to make up the tabletop. The tabletop is going to be 3 feet by 5 feet. And these boards are longer than 5 feet. In this case, this one is, 5 feet and almost 4 inches. So I'll have to cut this down at some point. But for right now, I'm just machining the other two sides on these planks. And that entails, for this board, cutting 1 inch off of one side and then running it through my joiner. So that's it. I've jointed that side. Now this isn't how I'm going to do the rest of them. The rest of them I'll cut to width and then I'll joint them all at the same time. I just wanted to show you this. I'm going to turn that camera off and get busy doing this. So when it comes to buying raw lumber, you can go several different routes. One is you can go to the big box store and you can buy, in this case, oak. And the oak will be 3/4 of an inch thick by however long, however wide you purchase. The other thing you can do is what I do. I go to a sawmill. And even at the sawmill, there are different things that you can, or different options of what you can buy. If you don't have tools like a planer or a joiner, you can buy what's called S4S. And what that means is that the surfaces have been sided on all 4 sides, top, bottom, and side to side. And that it's a perfect 90-degree angles all the way around. I buy S2S, surface on 2 sides. So one side has been jointed level, and I am going to plane the other side. The two. But in this case, all I have to do is take some material off the opposing side to make it parallel. Then I have one of the sides has been machined properly, and all I need to do is cut it or rip it on a table saw, and the other side will be parallel, or both sides will be parallel. And once I get the sides parallel, I'll run it through the joiner once just to, it's called sweeten the edge up. But right now, I'm going to run these pieces through the planer, thickness planer, and I'll bring them down to the thickness I want. I'll just pass 1, maybe 2 through to show you what it looks like, and then the rest I'll turn the camera off because it's just a repeat. So what I didn't tell you is the table on the bottom, and then the cutter is up here, and it's 3 blades that spin. One of the things I want to do in the future is get what's known as a helix blade, but that's in the future. We won't talk about that right now. And those 3 blades will shear some of the wood off and make it parallel to the bottom. Just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, this is the side that has already been planed, and this is the opposite side. And I want to make this side exactly parallel to the other side, and that's why I'm running this through this thickness planer. So I'll put this at this end, we'll turn it on, and give the camera a bit of a ride. So I've just spent the better part of a couple of hours milling the oak planks for the top. This is just for the tabletop. I haven't gotten to the legs. I haven't gotten to, other than to glue up a blank, I haven't gotten to the skirt for the table. This is just the tabletop. Spent a couple of hours doing it. And I have to tell you, I'm concerned about something. And my concern is that it's heavy. It's really heavy. And it's so heavy, in fact, that I'm wondering if I would be able to glue up this tabletop and get it out of the basement. That's how heavy it is. This is the oak that I'm using for the tabletop. This is just the tabletop. Now, it's not cut the length. I have to cut the pieces down a little bit, but not much. And forgot to measure what I want to take off. 5 foot 3 inches. Again, it's just a rough cut. This is going to be loud, so I'll make sure that I edit this in, what do they call it, post-production? Mm-hmm. Now you may notice that I didn't just chop right through it. I kind of took 3 passes at it. And the reason is if there's any stress in the board, I don't want it to snap back. So I cut that much off, and I cut about that much off on all the other pieces as well. And like I said, this is a really dense wood, so I don't have to carry that around anymore. I've let both sides dry a little bit, and now I'm going to bring them together. And to do that, I'm going to use 5 clamps, 2 on the bottom and 3 on top, as well as a couple of cauls. And the cauls, the purpose of them is to prevent the 2 sides from going like that. That's exaggerated, but that's what I'm trying to prevent. So I'm going to put these cauls on, and it will help keep this from bowing. Put it there. I have some tape on it so that any glue squeeze out, I can separate it after the glue dries. And this will put pressure down across the boards instead of this way. It'll go this way. Nice. We'll just let that sit and dry for a little while. Here's my first attempt, and if you look close you can see I left some of the white line in most places. Now what I'm going to do is take this sander and I'm going to delicately sand the white line until it disappears. And hopefully this turns out okay. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to concentrate on that and not filming, so this is coming off. The Mickey, the hidden Mickey. And I need something a little bit thicker than this. I didn't really think that through. So in order to do that, I am using a flush cutting bit on my router table. And let me bring you in and show you what that looks like. So you see that there's a bearing here. This bearing will ride along this finished surface, and I will mill out this unfinished area to match this. That makes quick work of it. The only problem is right in here. And there's not much I can do about that. When I take this up and I put it on the back of the table, I'll see if I can finish this up with some hand tools. Otherwise, I'll leave it the way it is. But Now, my niece is in Disney World right now with her mom, and I am coincidentally in the garage getting ready to route out a hidden Mickey. So let's see how this goes. Let's see how we did. I think that'll do. I did the work, but I don't know that I explained myself. So let me just go over that real quick. I found this online. You saw me Mod Podge this in place, and then you saw me create this blank that I then held down with double-sided tape and also 2 screws so it wouldn't wander, and that was important for this. Then I took a collar and put it in my router, and that collar right there will run along the outside of my blank here, and that's all that the bit sticks out, maybe a 1/4 inch. And as you saw, I just carefully went around this blank, making sure that I kept that collar pressed up tight against this blank to route out this mortise, essentially. Now the edges are sharp. I'll have to sand this, and fill these holes. That's not a big deal. And then I hope that I can lay gold leaf in here. I think I have gold leaf down in the basement. And then the rest of the table will be finished. It looks kind of like a whitewash. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to talk to Miranda about that. But that's the hidden Mickey. And my girl is down in Disney World, even as we speak, having a good time with her mom. Little does she know that her hidden Mickey was being created while she was wandering around Disney World.